I want to wrap up here with promo. Promo is super vital. Promo and cutting a promo, which, by the way, I'm going to put my notes down like this for a second. You can BS your way. Let's not mince words here. Can you BS your way around being fully gimmicked? Can you BS your way around like not really having a concrete grasp on things, not really kind of having it figured out, and just sort of like float by on just being a wrestler? It's been done. It's currently done. It's happening right now as we speak. We're in the state of Florida. Yeah. There's 1 trillion wrestlers here, and a lot of them are not a character or have any kind of focus on this.
Psycho Center.
It happens. The buck stops at, all right, time to cut a promo. Because they're like, oh, yeah, well, I don't. If you've got a character, if you've got it all figured out, this should be no problem. I should be able to have you in front of a camera with no prompt whatsoever and just be like, go.
Yeah.
And if you've got a handle on this, you should be okay. Doesn't mean it's going to be the Austin 316 promo every time, but you should be okay. And if you're not, that is your taste test. That is the Pepsi challenge of, do you have a character understanding or not? Because if you can't do that, I don't care if you're like, well, I'm kind of shy, or, well, I don't really cut promos. I do my talking in the ring.
Oh,
too bad.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Too bad. Promo's a part of life. Sorry. Too bad. If you could time travel and you could be in like the 70s and you've got the mouth of the South Jimmy Hart and he's doing your talking for you, then you got out of jail free. Yeah. But we're not in that era anymore. So it's on you now. Sorry. Yeah. Now, the anatomy of a promo, very simple. You've got your intro, you've got the meat and potatoes, you've got the ending. That's it. That's all they are. People get so stressed out and they make it way more complicated than it needs to be. Yeah. At the end of the day, that is all you got to worry about. Intro, middle, stick the landing.
Promo short for promote. So
it is I have it written down from Effie. Uh-oh. It is the way to convince people to watch or come to your wrestling match. That's all a promo is. It's a way to convince people to come see you. That's it. That's all it is. Now, if you can explain your character while doing it, bonus points. If you can hit all the details in terms of like date, time, who you're fighting, championship, bonus achievement unlocked. Way to go. If you can't do those things, then you got problems. Now, one thing that I always think about in terms of a promo is part of that character building. If you can come up with a way to have like kind of a tagline or a catchphrase, it doesn't have to be super hokey, but just a good thing to kind of like stick the landing on. Oh, it makes life so much easier.
That's an order.
There's an order. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. If you can smell what The Rock is cooking,
rest in peace.
Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. No. There are reasons why these things worked, and it was because didn't matter what. How many times in like 1998 is The Rock going on some kind of jag about something, and you're like, Rocky, what are we even talking about? Yeah. And then it doesn't matter because he brings it right back to, smell what The Rock is cooking. Yeah. Boom, got it. Like, because he was speaking in T-shirts at a certain point. It was like, here's pie, and here's SmackDown Hotel, and here's glass of monkey piss, and here's Kurt Angle taking Viagra, and here's monkey ass, and jabroni, and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So many things. But when he got to, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, you were like, I smell it. I got it. No. Like that super helps. If you can come up with something like that.
I didn't know now, but now I'm thinking about it. Now I kind of smell. Well, wait a minute. What is he cooking here?
So if you can come up with something that doesn't have to be super obvious, but something that you can hit on a boom, and that's an order, then you know that whatever the meat and potatoes is, you know that when you're like, and you're thinking to yourself like, okay, I got the title, and I'm going to fight in the championship. It's March 18th. It's It's at the Bosco, event center, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, got that. I got my thing over, blah, 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 looking good. Okay. And that's an order. Boom. We got a clear ending. Let's get out of there. Now, with that being said, let's say maybe you're unsure of yourself for the promo a little bit. And the one thing that drives me nuts is somebody cutting a promo, and I know they've got a character. I know they can do this. And they've got the deer in the headlights look, and they're just like, I'm here. Oh, I'm here. And I'm gonna fight you, and you're going down in 2 minutes, and I'm gonna pin the thing, and they're gonna put the title on me because it's
that's not a word.
June the 4th. 7:15. If the two options are you're cutting an interesting promo that's engaging people and making them want to come see you, and then option B is you're getting all the song and dance about where it's happening and who you're fighting and blah, 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 blah. And those are our only two options. It's either an interesting promo or you hit all the marks that are going to be on the poster. Cut the interesting promo. We can put the flyer at the end of it that explains the date and time and location and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. If you can't do both, which that's okay. That's fine. Yeah. I would much rather, I would take 1,000 interesting, engaging promos that don't happen to say the event time and blah, 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 than one promo that technically it ticked off all the boxes and it got all the info in, but it was like watching paint dry to actually view. Yeah. Got no business for that. I got no time for that.
Here's some advice for somebody like me. And despite popular belief, I was a shy person at one point where I didn't like to communicate with people or speak to people. Wrestling was always around for me. Wrestling was always around. So what I would do is I would watch promos. Now on YouTube, you would want to watch promos. Any promo you can think of. Think of your favorite wrestler and just type in promo. All right? So I would watch these promos, and then I would recite these promos. And I would recite these promos all day. Like, I'll be in the car just to grab that energy.
Right.
Like,
because it made an impact.
Yes. Like, this promo made you feel.
Side note, perfect example of that. It was 1,000 years ago. It was in a bygone era. But if you watch Dusty Rhodes' Hard Times promo, you feel it today.
Yes.
I at my shoot job, I finally reached 10 years at my shoot job, and the first thing I thought of was they give you a gold watch and they kick you out and they say, "Oh, robot just took your job." Like, that's in there forever. Yeah. Because he was speaking to people. He was making a connection with people.
And even if it's so far out of this world, 33 1/3% chance. There's there's the promo. Right. There's the promo everybody would reference. And
the breaking down the Scott Steiner promo, it's so dumb that it goes full circle and becomes brilliant art. Because you're watching it, and if you just take it, you're like, this guy's doing some weird math and just talking loudly, and no one's correcting him because he's scary. Yeah. And then it went full circle, and you're like, that's called art, baby. Yeah, that's genius.
That is the greatest promo ever. Like, sure, people will say Austin 316, this, that, CM Punk, but this is so ridiculous.
So big, yeah.
For somebody so serious.
Right.
This literally became, it's the promo. Watch that promo. Try to recite that promo.
The Scott Steiner 33 1/3 promo.
Absolutely. And try to watch these promos and recreate that energy. So when I decided, okay, I'm going to be the Captain Aronova, I'm going to be this Napoleon Complex Saturday morning cartoons. If I'm going to be the villain, because I was babyface for 3 years of my career at first when I first started. So it's like, if I'm going to transition into heel, I'm just not going to go out there and say, "Oh, okay, you people suck. All right, you suck."
Oh, so this town of backwoods hicks and
so I have to be this figure. So you have to start asking yourself these questions. Okay, who does my gimmick correlate with? And at the time I felt like, oh, all right. So I'm like this uptight captain persona. Bob Backlund was like in the new generation era where like wrestling was transitioning into a much adult audience. Right. And he was this guy who was this educator. He was like a teacher, and it's just like teachers are squares, but he beat Bret Hart. And this promo is just like, now I'm the guy who represents your society. And it's just like the energy, like the eyes bulging. Right. And it's like, now I'm a champion. Like, so stuff like the body language, the voice changing and growing, and the like, okay, he won the title, but this man just lost his mind now. Like, this title just made this man crazy.
Snapped. Like,
so I would watch that.
The worst thing that ever happened to Bob Backlund was him being proven that he's right.
Exactly.
That's the key.
It was bizarre. I mean, and he lost the next day to Diesel,
which is fine.
But like, I would watch that promo over and over, and I'd be in the car driving, and I'm the man who represents your society. Recite it. All right, let's get some more different promos. So watch promos, just like you study tape to take moves. Watch promos and try to recreate that energy. Take that energy, try to grasp it, make it your own.
Now, that being said, as like one of the questions that I asked earlier, that doesn't mean you have to be that. It doesn't mean like you're like, oh, I guess I got to say like, let me tell you something, brother. Like, no. That's not the lesson to take here. if you are going to be, let's say you're like a sullen kind of like Raven from ECW, that you're not super high energy, that's fine too.
That's okay.
You don't have, the Raven wasn't in here to be like, and here's my Mega Powers promo. Like, I'm going to tell Tommy Dreamer that he's a prima donna and that he's hot dogging. No, that wasn't Raven. But that's my least favorite Disney Channel show. That wasn't Raven.
That's so not Raven.
It was a situation where he was fully committed to his character, which he was this counterculture sort of like depression, sullen. He was above it all.
Mind you, this guy was Scotty Flamingo.
That's true, with the polo.
Androgynous rich kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
with the
bizarre.
boogie board and the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
Yes. So he changed that over time, which is perfectly acceptable. But even though he wasn't, same to your point, you watch a promo like his and you don't go like, oh, did he do a line of coke beforehand? No. Now you watch some Macho Man ones and he's neck bulging in that time that he was like an amateur magician.
Yeah.
Because like during the Cream of the Crop one where he just keeps making little
like
coffee creamers show up and he puts it in Mean Gene's pocket. Like, they don't all have to be that way, but Nova's 100% correct. If you watch these older promos, you watch promos of anybody that stands out. One thing that I always use as an example is Eddie Kingston. Now, Eddie Kingston, obviously in AEW now, he's seen all over the place. He's a great promo guy because he has lived a hard life in reality, so he can draw from that all the time.
Yeah, like you said, it doesn't have to be Ultimate Warrior.
No.
You can be Raven. There's just a way to dance around it. There's like Jake the Snake says, like, I know some people aren't like very like vocal people, like I'm loud as hell and I could be, but people with power speak softly. Like, if you're whispering, everybody's going to try to listen to you. So if that's how you feel, like, if you're not that loud of a person, try it. Less is more. Make it impactful.
But commit to it either way.
Exactly.
Just you going out and just being like, hey, everybody, I'm here to wrestle because they told me I had to hold a mic. That's not doing anybody any favors. That's
commit to that energy. So just watch different scenarios and situations, promos, whether it be in the ring or in the back or a vignette or something. Try to capture that energy. Recite it. Say it 100 times. You know, say it to yourself. Say it to your friend. Like, all this, like, iRhea Studio started because we put paint on our faces and we were like, let's be the World Warriors.
Yeah.
And let's make fun of Dakota and let's do stuff like that. And it snowballed. So, like, just practice it.
Well, and that goes back to before we went to the Q&A, the having that notebook, to have those lines. If you hear anything that you're like, oh, that's a great line, boop, 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 write it down. You're good to go, because then when you're in those situations where, hey, we need you to cut a promo about this thing coming up, and you go, ooh, and you pull that up and you go, ooh, that's a good line. I'm going to use that here.
Don't think it, ink it.
All right.
Dusty said.
Keep it always on hand so that you always have those things to say to stay interesting. So you're not just like, I'll give you another great example. This was a Punk Pro one. We had the Kenway was coming over from St. Louis to be on a Punk Pro secret show. And that's I don't know, like a 12-hour drive, something nuts.
Pretty far.
It's ridiculous. And on the way to the venue, he's coming up with things for a promo. He's just like, oh, and that's the line. Okay, great. So when he got there, we were like, well, we want you to cut a promo because you're going to fight John Davis. Okay, great. He cuts this promo, and the line he had when he already came in was he had an ending line, which was, I want to say, from Friday Night Lights, where it was clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. That was the line he was ending on. And then he had this thing that he came up with, that he was here for three things. He was here for gold, he was here for girls, and he was here for guap. That was the line he came up with. Yeah. And so he came in with that, and I was like, we can build a whole fortress on this.
See, you hear these catchphrases, and I know the people watching right now immediately think, I need that on a t-shirt.
Exactly. That's the other thing about a promo. If you can get a good ending line, a good tagline coming, that opens the door for merch. So easy.